Well, a very good Saturday morning to you. It is the 3rd of September and racing today taking place in Johannesburg on the inside track with a feature meeting. The big news today, of course, is the Pick Six carryover. Everyone's talking about R1 million carried over to the Pick Six today and set to get up to R5 million. It looks like a beautiful day weather-wise. Lyle Cooper joins me. No rainfall in the last 7 days and the track condition good. It's pretty firm out there, Lyle. A penetrometer of 21, so pretty hard going. You've got to have good legs on the surface today.
And we're going to be more confident. You and I sat here on Thursday and we did not like the card.
No, we didn't.
In the end, we were right. No.
Yeah.
But today I prefer this card a lot more. I think we can do well.
Yeah, we didn't like that card. For some reason, I just didn't have the feel for it. And I haven't had that in a while. I just did not like that card on Thursday. I did not want to get involved to my detriment. I did get a bit involved too.
Yeah, we did.
For the consequences. Anyway, feature race today. There are 2 feature races today. And interestingly, Lyle, what I did is go back a couple of years to these 2 feature races on the calendar. Neil and I had this discussion some time back. What we said to ourselves was, what is the profile of the winner of this race? In other words, what horse are in the mold of going back and looking at the last couple of winners of both the Ladies Stakes and the Spring Speed Stakes? What is the profile of the horse? What is the mold of the type of horse we're looking for? And I'd like to discuss that with you when we come to these 2 races, because it's interesting to think about what it is and how trends continue in racing. But let's talk about that a bit later.
Okay.
Let's get straight into the meat of the action. We've got race 1 kicking off early today at 12 o'clock. I know you're working. I'm actually going racing today because I'm showing the team of Racing Today, which is a new magazine program on racing that I'm involved with around the course and exactly what happens on a race day. So no doubt we'll pay you a visit during the course of the day.
Great. I look forward to seeing them again.
Okay, so race 1 jumps early, 12 o'clock. It's a maiden plate over 1,000 meters. We'll go to the betting for starters. So I'm going to bring up the screen of the betting now. And there's been marked interest in this newcomer, number 4, Black Egret, from the stable of Ashley Fortune, son of Rafif. Very good speed in the pedigree. Has been backed in from 9 to 2 all the way into 14 to 10 now. What have you heard? Have you heard anything? Are the dogs barking, as they say? What's going on with this?
I haven't heard dogs barking. Ashley Fortune, from her own mouth, said, okay, draw. If he can get some cover, he'll be running on strongly. So that was the comment I got there. Okay. The comment I got about the 7 from Computer Form was, Johan said, we'll probably need the run. Interesting comment about number 8, Wind Water. Johan saying, will be in the money. The 10, Mythical Dream, also Johan, he said, obviously we'll need draw, we'll need luck from that draw, but can run very close. And Ashley also said a positive run about number 11, United We Stand. So I know you spend more time on the first race than I have. I don't think this is straightforward, Nico. There might be a few little... I'm quite glad it's not the first leg of the Bipod today. I mean, number 4 could come lonely, and I'll chat to Ashley again on course. I'm also interviewing Kabelo Matanyani in race 1 before they start, and I'll chat to him about his runner coming up later, which we'll chat about. But I'm interested with number 8, Wind Water. Also, obviously, on debut, Walker Bay here in South Africa. And then a horse like Smelting could just be there and thereabouts at a very big price as well. So I'm interested to hear what you think, Nico.
Yeah, I just feel that it looks like a newcomer's going to win this, something that hasn't run before. It just has that feel about it. So Black Egret's obviously the money horse. There's lots of speed in that pedigree. Rafif's done the business in his stallion career thus far. The positive comments on Wind Water. Unfortunately, I didn't get hold of Johan Janssen van Vuren before the show. Normally, when he's got a good card, I contact him, but I know that you'll see him early on. So he's interesting because he's got that 10 Mythical Dream in the race, and it's a prolific sprinting family that. You know, it's not drawn the best, but there are now 2 scratchings. I have to add that number 7, Pontiac, is also out. So 6 and 7 are now scratched. So it brings Mythical Dream in further. And that's very interesting. And so to United, I think it's just going to come from a newcomer. So I'm hedging that either Black Egret or one of the 2 Van Vuren runners does it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, nicely bred, certainly.
So that's the way we're looking in the first of the day. As we move on to race 2, I'm updating the changes as we go. This is the start of the Bipod at 12:35. It's a maiden plate, fillies and mares 1450 is the trip here. No scratchings, alamites and ear muffs, and a compression mask all go on number 2, which is pronounced Ayia Sophia. And the reason I know that, the reason I know it is because it's bred by Heversham Park.
Yes.
Nigel Riley and his beautiful wife, Katerina, name the horses. And she comes from a Greek island called Kefalonia.
Oh, wow.
And Ayia Sophia is actually the name of a magnificent beach in Greece. So it's pronounced Ayia Sophia. And so that's number 2. Not that it's got much chance.
Thank you.
It's got a merit rating of 11.
Yeah, it's not great, Nico.
I think it's the lowest merit rating I've seen on a horse ever. So it does have some claim to fame. And then number 9, Hertsoki, which is apparently is the name of a biscuit, a big Afrikaans delicacy, like is it a coconut biscuit? Some type of biscuit. Hertsoki, a race with a compression mask. Now, the money in this race is all for number 10 on the guest list. The dogs are now barking.
Sorry, now the dogs are barking. I'll try and hold it. Carry on, Nico. My apologies.
I said the dogs were barking about something. So they might be barking about this horse on the guest list because it shortens in from what effectively is 22 to 10 or 25 to 11 into 16, 17 to 10. That's the favorite. What do you like in race 2?
Yeah, I'm going. This is such a weak field, Nick. I'm going with a 10 on the guest list. Certainly the strongest form lines. Cabello Matagnani for Mike de Kock in Mr. Chudder and Warren Rippon's colours. Blinker strike this afternoon. I think this is the horse to beat. I do respect Hertsoki. And then other horses to include maybe number 1, Luna Ballard, could be an improver, as well as Camerata and Treaty. Just an interesting comment from Ashley Fortune. She did say that all 3 will be competitive of her runners. So it might be wise just to include a horse like number 6, Camerata. But for me personally, I think number 10 here, Nico, really the horse to beat.
Okay, now I made it a 2-horse race, and I thought the value lay with the horse that you mentioned there, number 1, Luna Ballard. And the reason I mention her is because she's a year older, and the Alec Laird stable have hit their straps. They had 2 winners on Thursday, the first couple of races, bang, bang, and JP's riding well for them. Not drawn the best, but still, I think when I studied the form, they were much of a muchness, Lyle, and I'd be rather taking 4 to 1 about Luna Ballard than 16, 17 to 10 on the guest list. But I do make it between the 2 of them. And for me, I'm going to be taking those 2, but probably end up backing Luna Ballard there in race 2. Because I don't know. See, the blinker strike's also interesting because how will it go down to the start with the blinkers on?
We'll see.
Although that Mike de Kock tries them very well before they reach the track. So you know that they mean business when they put those blinkers on. Okay, let's go to the start of the PA. We've tried a PA today on the Take a Bet show with Chloe Andrews, so you can look forward on the channel to that as well. Race 3 is the start, a maiden plate, 2,000 runs at 10 past 1. Now, small field here, and note that Master of Change, number 3, has a compression mask on. Now, let's look at the betting. The betting suggests all the money is for the bottom number 7, Royal Raphael, from 8 to 1 into 5 to 1, only having his second run. But the favorite is number 1, Clap of Thunder, marginally ahead of the Inkasana and Lord of Light. How did you see the third go?
Interesting race, this, Nico. Again, not the strongest. The Inkosana, of course, beat Clap of Thunder last time, but is 7 kilograms worse off.
Yes.
So don't laugh at me when I say I'm going to go with number 2, the Inkosana, in this race from Clap of Thunder. But I do respect horses like Prime Example and Lord of Light. I can't give my opinion on number 7. I'll watch the money. I'll watch the horse. Obviously, Samanga Kamalo is riding. But for me, I'm going to go 2, 1, 6, and 4 in that order.
2, 1, 6, and 4. So you're going for the Inkasana. Now, may I ask you why you're defying the weights turnaround here?
Because I think that Inkosana, since going over this trip, has absolutely loved it. Drawn nicely at 3. I think JP will have him quite nice and handy. and I don't think this race will take a lot of winning. So no surprise. I mean, I'm not going to leave Clap of Thunder out of absolutely of anything, but I thought the Inksoswana might just be able to do it again, because we know the Clap of Thunder just struggling to win that first race.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit wary of this race, Nick. I mean, a horse like Prime Example on the run behind Master of Coin was 2.5 kilograms behind my selection, or 2.5 lengths behind, and 2.5 kilograms better off. So a horse like Prime Example could even win this race. Bit trappy for me. So I'm going to go at least 1 and 2 in the PA, maybe even a horse like number 6.
Yeah, it's a small field, but it's trappy. And what makes it more interesting is the money for Royal Raphael, who's a son of Coup de Gras, who's out of a Montgermain Heavens Above. That has come in for the mark betting support from 8-1 to 5-1. So my personal take on it is that whilst Clap of Thunder is struggling to win a race, it definitely has the weight on its side in terms of the weight turnarounds there. I believe that the other horse that we haven't mentioned, Poet's Warrior, who's been gelded, might be in for a bit of improvement over the trip of 2,000 meters. So I like you, whilst it is a smallish field, to pick the winner is not easy. I think you can pick a place horse for the PA, but it's hard to pick the winner there outright.
Nico,
okay.
I will be chatting to Adam Azzi at about 12:55 about his running at Poet's Warrior. So we'll get inside some information.
Okay, so fine. Therefore, we can have a look at that. So Adam Azzi is the man that we'll listen to with regards to his runners today at 12:55 on Racing 240. Okay, let's move on to the fourth race, and this is the start of that big carryover pick 6. There was R1 million in the pool, and they're now boosting. Well, there is going to be R1 million to kick off with. It'll reach about 5 million. I can confirm a late scratching here in the form of the rank outsider number 8, Tiny Dancer, who was scratched at 25-8 this morning. So that is a late scratching number 8, Tiny Dancer. Doesn't adjust the betting though, but here many are saying it's a 5-legged pick 6 because Rarotonga Rose number 4 is at 1-4, Lyle. And is this a banker?
Nico, there's nothing to beat it. I looked at them. If this horse doesn't win today, I'm not sure she'll ever win. And even though she's drawn 9, I think she'll win here. My one other horse that I might just be throwing in to back myself, I would be the 7, funny enough, Streets Ahead. The Corner Speech said if he's ready from that run behind a colourful past, could be competitive. But for a smaller punter, it is a 5-legged pick 6. Rarotonga Rose, best bet on the card, 1-4. I know it's very, very skinny, but who's going to beat it? That's my question for you, Nico.
Yeah, I don't have anything to beat it. So what I'm going to do here, my play, is I'm getting a bit gung-ho. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I'm going to take straight exactors, 4 and 5.
Yeah. Okay, you like the 5.
Yeah, I think Sassy will run second. So I'm going 4 and 5. Now, there was 4.6 lengths between them last time in the run to Tulip Tree, and I'm taking that as read. I'm saying to myself that not horses like Ballycotton or Streets Ahead or anything else can finish at level weights 4.9 behind Tulip Tree, bearing in mind that Sassy was inconvenienced during the run last time out and might have finished a little bit closer. So that's what I'm doing today. As opposed to taking the 1-4 about Rarotonga Rose, I'm taking a straight line exactor, 4 and 5. That's how I'm playing.
Okay, we'll have our coffee. We'll have our coffee there if you don't mind. You take Sassy, I'll take Streets Ahead.
So you're going 4 and 7 straight line exactor.
Correct.
Okay. So let's move on to race number 5. We'll share the coffees at the course today. Race 5 is the start of the first jackpot at 25 past 2. It's a merit rated 96 handicap and it's over 2,000 meters. Scratched here is number 6. Now it's an important scratching. Motown Magic is out. This was scratched also at 7:30 this morning, and that is an important scratching. And I was hoping he would run today, but he's obviously not ready. They say here off his feed, so he's just not enjoying life at the moment. And he's a horse that we'll watch out for when he comes up later on because he was pretty short. Now, the betting here has Razor Hallelujah, who not only is in good form, but that stable is now red hot. I don't know what's happened since the wedding has taken place, but it seems like that's a ripple effect right throughout. Everyone is loving life in that Dawson yard. I had a chance actually to spend some time on Sunday afternoon with Tammy Dawson, who's Candace's youngest sister. We were watching polo cross together, of all things, on last Sunday. And we had a long chat about it, and everyone's in a terrific place in that yard, so it's wonderful to see. Anyway, that's the
Did you bet on the polo cross, okay?
No, I didn't bet on the polo cross, but I was very fascinated by what the horses actually do there, because how the horses twist and turn and run fast and then stop all of a sudden. It's unbelievable. But we had a good time out at the polo cross. And once again, thanks to Lyle Hewittson's mother, Samantha, for inviting me out there. It's a wonderful place near Lanseria Airport. I know I'm diverting attention here, but I went to go and watch it, and I chatted to Samantha about Lyle and his projections for this season. And, you know, they are so focused, not only Lyle, but Hannah as well, is so focused on Lyle doing exceptionally well for South Africa this season. And we can't take away the exploits of young Luke Ferraris as well. I'm really looking forward. It starts on the 11th of September, by the way, next Sunday.
Good.
So we'll be hoping to watch it. Anyway, back to the betting here. Jamal is 2-1. The horse is scratched on Motown Magic, so that means that Southern Star will shorten as well. I looked at this race, and I've got my own opinions, but I'd like to hear yours first.
All right. I think the betting's not that far off, Nico. I actually like Razor Hallelujah, as you said, in good form. Keegan Amello is on fire at the moment.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
From Jamila. In fact, the other day I was doing an interview with Keegan and Turffontein, and I thought he'd have about 5 winners, 6 winners since he's come back, and he says, no, this is his 18th. I said, excuse me? Your 18th? He took a 2-week break.
Yes.
So, wow.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So, Razor Hallelujah from Jamila, I think these are the two, but I do have respect for Green Haze. I think this is the one horse that the price might be slightly inflated. I think this horse could win a race like this. Even though held by Razor Hallelujah on the penultimate, he can run, the old man. And then a horse like Southern Star, I mean, he runs 2.5 lengths behind Sparkling Water, giving 4 kilograms.
Yeah, that's
so. In the jackpot, Nico, I'm going to go 5, 4, 1, and 3. I think those are the right 4, and I think the betting's not far off.
Okay, yes, I'm another big fan of Razor Hallelujah, as well as you. I think even though he's gone up a bit in the ratings, up to 91, that the handicapper hasn't really caught up with his improvement. And
only 3 points.
Because he receives a little bit of weight from both Jamala and Southern Star, that might be the telling factor in the end, that Razor Hallelujah will get away with another victory today. And as you mentioned, I mean, I was just looking now at Keegan DeMello. You mentioned that. I mean, he hadn't ridden from the 30th of July to the 14th of August. Okay.
Yes.
And that is just a magnificent achievement. You can't help but feel that he's just raised his game a notch or two.
He has.
Well. And he is so really focused. And what a lovely guy Keegan is. I'm looking forward to catching up with him, because another quick point about him that I wanted to mention, he's got a bit of a sweet tooth, Keegan.
Yes, I heard this.
Did you hear the story? Yeah, so he's got a bit of a sweet tooth. I don't know how he keeps his weight down, but every now and then I ask him if he's got a spare chocolate for me. And he often does. So I might even ask him today.
Although he told me he doesn't like chocolates. He only likes sweets.
Yeah, he likes sweets, yeah. But sometimes he buys chocolates. Therefore, I know that if he's got one in his bag, he'll give it to me. So
that's sweet.
I'm going to ask him that later when I see him. Okay, back to the point. Razor Hallelujah, I think, is the horse to beat. But like you mentioned, the key horse for me here is Southern Star. Because there was a bit of money for him last time out. They've put Kamalo on, and this horse is capable, and he's a strong front runner. You know, and remember that Razor Hallelujah likes to come from the back. So I'm looking at this race and saying Southern Star in front, Razor Hallelujah mowing it down. Who wins?
Yeah.
Question mark. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But I do like 3 and 5, and like you, I'm backing it up with 4 Jamala. I think Green Haze is a bit long in the tooth. He's capable on his day, but I think
he is capable.
He'll be my 4th selection there. Okay, we're moving on to those feature races now. And this is the Lady Stakes over 1,200 meters. Now, the changes here, I'll just quickly update my my look at the changes here. I don't see any scratching, Zal. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if you've seen any.
No, no scratching, sir.
There are a few changes for number 4, Mariah, Alamites and a compression mask on. Number 5, May Queen has a compression mask on. And number 6, Midnight Gem has a pressure halter on. 18 to 10, Mercury Rising, number 1. 7 to 2, number 2, Bon Vivant. And then money for Miss Daisy from 8 to 1 into 6 to 1. And then it's 8 to 1 bar those. Take me through your choices.
Right, I think it's a competitive race, Nico. I'm going to take my first selection, Kayla's champ. Randall Simons, good to have him back. 4 Farney Bronkhorst, good last few. On the last run, the question is here, she hasn't got the best draw, whereas Mercury Rising's got the draw of 1. She's only receiving 1 kilogram from Mercury Rising, but on that penultimate, she is 7.5 kilograms better off with Mercury Rising for a 4.5 length beating. So I thought, for me, this is the value at 10 to 1. I have huge respect for Mercury Rising. Tony Peter did say that she'll be even better around the turn, so that she could improve on the last run. And we know Anna Capri is no slouch. Number 8, I've always liked Miss Daisy. Ryan Munger for Billy Raters. She's a horse that goes under the radar, but if you go into her form lines, they really are strong. She's drawn 3. She's got a 52 kilograms. I think she's a huge runner. And then, of course, Bon Vivant. Can't leave this horse out here. Keegan and Mello for Johan. So if I had to narrow it down, I would go 3 from 1 and 8. But certainly wouldn't be leaving out horses like 2, 6, and 7 if I could go wider.
Yeah. I don't, again, I want to flash back to what I said at the start of the show with regard to looking at the profile of a horse in this race. Now, when I look back at, not many 3-year-olds have contested this race in the past. Big Burn won this race as a 3-year-old, but she was the only 3-year-old in the race. I just believe that the 3-year-olds might have the key to winning this race. So you mentioned Miss Daisy. I'm going to just throw in the same pot, Time for Glory. Now, she was meant to come out and run not so long back, and she was scratched. And I think I saw Wai Shong mowing at the track shortly thereafter, and I asked him how she was doing, because she's got a very high merit rating of 100. And he said, no, she was doing pretty well. And when you look at her form, I mean, she's run some very good races. She's not drawn the best at 8, but Miss Daisy and Time for Glory for me might hold the key to winning it. Having said that, Mercury Rising. Now, we know what Mr. Peter does with the horses that he gets from elsewhere, and how they just seem to love his style of training, his way of training, and how, I mean, Vanderbilt is an exceptional horse. Unbelievable. That just proves the point of how they can improve. Now, we'll remember that Mercury Rising initially was with Justin Snaith before Sandy and Eugene bought it and then moved it to Wendy Whitehead. But it effectively is an ex-Snaith horse going to Ball Beater. And that always raises the eyebrows a bit on what he's capable of doing. So despite the fact that it's carrying 61.5 kilos, you have to certainly say that Mercury Rising is in the mix. I don't like the race. I think you make a point for Kayla's champ. I think that she's better on a straight track, although her form on the turn's not bad at all. So I think all of 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 3-year-olds would go into play. Time for Glory. I agree. Daisy. I think I'd want to be running into with all of those. I think that's where it is. That's where it lands.
Agreed.
Okay. So that's the 6th. Right, let's move on to race 7. Again, I've listened to your numbers here, and I don't necessarily agree, but I'm gonna ask you to make cases for them. So race 7 is the Top Bet Spring Spree Stakes. Nice to have Top Bet as a sponsor. I don't think they've ever sponsored the race, and nice for them to come in the fold. Of course, Top Bet was the brainchild of the late Mike O'Connor, and I just want to just quickly speak about him for a second. He died in a very tragic accident, in a very tragic incident at his betting institution. But I had the pleasure of dealing with Mike when I ran Teletrack for so many years, and what a gentleman he was. He leaves a legacy behind him, and it's nice now to find the name of Top Bet in the race card. So it's a tribute, I think, to the late Mike O'Connor and what he did for
And
racing and for the bookmaking industry.
Kevin Pillay will be out there today, and I'll be chatting to him before race 7.
Okay, I wonder if it's the same Kevin Pillay I know that was involved in the betting dissemination. Well, maybe I'll pop by and see if it was him. So
yes,
scratch and race 7 are 7 and 11 now. Roll with the punches. The late scratching is twice suspended, the 11. And then the other changes, no earmuffs on Prince of Fire. Number 4, Supreme Quest, and number 9, Noble Striker. Both have compression masks on. Quite a bit of change here. Valdorcia is the top one. Opened 4.5, went 5, is into 3. So there's been money for Valdorcia. There's been money for Sheila, who's 33 to 10. And there's been money for Vasim, who's also come into 33 to 10. And Vasim was last year's winner of this race, by the way. Won this exact race last year. And then after that, you get to number 1, Prince of Fire at 11 to 2. How did you see this one working out?
Well, Nico, I can hear by the tone of your voice, I think you like a bit of number 6, Vasim. So let me start off with number 3, Valdorcia, who, if we go back on a line through, you can pronounce this for me, Isi Vungu.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
that line there. Now, Valdorcia has the horse behind. So I'm going to go with number 3, nicely drawn, Gavin Larena. Gavin likes these bigger races. The form's there to see, and useful sprinter. Number 8, Nico, Mind Reader.
Yes.
I got to know Mind Reader quite well. She is very, very talented and a huge underachiever. If we go back to the run on the 30th of October, she was a short head behind Sheila. She is 7.5 kilograms better off. She's not drawn particularly well. She's going over 1,200, which is a question mark. But one day, Mind Reader is going to blow them all away because she can run. The one horse, Prince of Fire, obviously rested and a horrible draw here, but loves the course and distance. And if you go back and look at when she won over the course and distance, it was a good time. The 62 kilograms is a worry in the draw, but I just have to mention it because of his class. And then horses like number 6, Vasim, and of course, Sheila. So, what a good race. I think it's a fantastic race. So, my colours to the wall. I'll go with number 3 to give us a good run, and Mind Reader, my value.
Well, you are a mind reader because you spoke about Vasim, and I didn't tell you what I liked in the race, but strangely enough, I like both Magna horses. I also like Team Gold. I'm going to throw this one in as well. Again, the profile of previous winners of this race are not the heavyweights, not the horses that carry and lump the weight, but horses sort of carrying 54, 55. So your Mind Reader falls in that category. The problem for me with Mind Reader is I think she's a 1,000-meter horse.
It could be.
I don't think she's a 1,200-meter horse. So that's the problem with Mind Reader for me. I'm going to Team Gold. Again, has been running over further. But the only issue I've got with both Vasim and Team Gold is the stable form. Now, Roy Magnus only had one winner in the new season. And that, for me, is a concern. Now, Casey, who works in the yard, is a wonderful fountain of information. And I always love catching up with her. She's a wonderful...
She's lovely, yeah.
And she really comes to the party when you ask her about anything in the yard. But the stable just doesn't seem to be at their top at the moment. And I'm hoping that they bounce back. So the concern about following both Vasim and Team Gold is the form of the yard. That may open the door for your Valdorcia to strike, because we know the Paul Peters stable is hardly ever not in form. So from a good draw, Valdorcia, who's only run the course and distance once and ran second, is a big runner. Sheila, for me, the jury's out on Sheila today. I'm not convinced today that today's the right day, because I think that Valdorcia, for me, is a better bet than Sheila at the prices. They're both similar prices. Outside of those, you mentioned Prince of Fire. He's a smashing horse, but they've taken the earmuffs off and he's got a bad draw. So I'm querying that, querying what's going to happen with that. So for me, I'm going to go a bit wide in this race, and I'll go as wide as the horses I've mentioned to put them in there. Supreme Quest, I think you could throw in at a bigger price. I think we've mentioned the winner somewhere in that mix, and I believe that it'll be all very interesting when that race comes. You'll load up there.
Yeah, we're going wide.
In the picture.
Good race.
Okay, we are on to race 8. We only have 7 minutes of show left, so we'll try and knock these 2 off because I have nattered on a little bit today. Race 8, scratch number 1, Sheldon. And then Alamites in front only for number 3, Infinite Peace. Blinkers go on number 3, Infinite Peace. Number 9, Texas Red as a compression mask. And 11, Ramchandani Road, no blinkers. And Alamites front, unshot behind. Now, here is the interesting horse on the card. The most exciting horse that I think is running today. What is I Am Giant capable of doing after a great first effort? Not drawn the best. Comes in because of the scratching. No, in fact, doesn't come in. So it's drawn 9 effectively out of 11.
No, it doesn't.
So it's 9 out of 11. I Am Giant. Look, he goes on reputation. We're going on what we've seen. We're going on what Cabello Mazzignani told you. We're going for I Am Giant.
Cabello Mazzignani, the horse went off at 4-1. Cabello didn't move a muscle. And when he stood in an interview with me, he said to me, it's the best 2-year-old he has ever ridden. So massive confidence. James confirmed that as a very, very decent individual. So this is why we can go wide earlier, Nico, because we're going to bank a number 2, I Am Giant, to follow him home. We're going to take horses like Texas Red, who is 8 kilograms better off with him. Number 6, Power Broker, and number 4, South Boy, who I think could be a bit of value for the places. But, Janica, we've got to take a stand somewhere. I'm Giant. When Cabello Mazzignani says it's the best 2-year-old he's ever sat on, we've got to stand up and take notice.
I think so. And you know what? I was excited after watching that horse win. And James told me the week before, he said, I've got a first-timer running for Lawrence Werner's next week, and it'll go close. And you know what? I forgot he told me that.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about it. I think we were having a beer. It wasn't the reason.
Yeah, you saw it.
It wasn't the reason why I forgot. I just completely forgot about it. And when it won, I said, oh my goodness, he told me about this horse.
Yeah.
The point being is that it comes with a huge reputation. We've seen it. I'm going to see him today. We've got to take a start somewhere. We're in the camp of I Am Giants, race 8. As that takes us on to the last of the day, 20-5 for the merit rated 80 handicap. It's over 1,600 meters. I'm going to once and for the last time today refresh my screen. No scratchings, no changes in the last. This is the final leg of the pick 6. How do you want to go in here in the pick 6? Do you need numbers?
I think we need a few. It's a good race, this one. I like Besuye. Samanga Kamala for Bar and Boots. Again, not well drawn. And maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot today. I've taken a few that aren't well drawn. But, you know, that run behind Thunderbolt is just such a good run. The time that Electric Gold won last time was a good time. Besuye was just 3 lengths behind. I think this is a nice bit of value, but I have a lot of respect for Legislate Stance. The comment, by the way, is doing well, and Muzi is very happy with the work of number 7. So I think that's a massive runner. And then Foreign Field has to have a chance with that Mr. Keegan Mello aboard from a draw of 2. And I just also want to mention one more, Ablon from the Michael Cox stable with Craig Zaki aboard. Those form lines, I know it's been off a long, long time. The form lines really are good. But because he's got 61.5 kilograms, I might just end up taking those 3 in that order, 6, 7, and 4. That's it for me.
Okay, so I see it very much the same as you. My 2 horses here are 6 and 7. This is where we come to an agreement. Now, I've always been a big Besuye fan. Why, you say? Well, once upon a Tuesday, this horse won for me at a huge price, 25-1. Okay, we tipped it that day. It beat Razor Hallelujah. Now, bear that in mind. Razor Hallelujah runs in a merit-rated 96 handicap earlier in the day. This is a merit-rated 80. I know it received weight.
Yep.
I know it received weight from Razor Hallelujah, but if Razor Hallelujah wins or goes close in that race before, I'm doubling my bet on this because I believe that this is the right horse.
Even if Razor Hallelujah doesn't win, I still think this is a big player.
Yeah.
Good form all over.
What concerns me, though, is once again that factor of Paul Peter getting the sort of legislate dance to win as he's done in the last 2. I always liked this horse when Lazan Forbes trained him. I always thought he was one of the best legislates around, and he's come to prove it now. That is the factor, because there's been money for him again. 9-2 to 28-10. That you've got to take into account. So I've got healthy respect for Legislate's dance, but I'm going to try and take it on with Bayesier. In the pick six, I'm putting both in. I'm willing to accept your foreign field because you've done your homework on it.
I'll put foreign field in.
And I'll put that in. So so that's the way I see that one. I'm very much 6 and 7 there. Probably Bayesier ahead of Legislate's dance. Lyle,
I just want to mention, Nico,
yeah.
just before we go, I want to mention that foreign field has been running into quite a bit stronger. So I don't think we should leave this one out. And the merit rating's on an 81. So foreign field wouldn't be a shock winner at all.
Okay, so I'm going to include that as well, just on your advice. 1 minute 20 of show left. We've nattered away, but we've had a good time.
Well, you've nattered away.
Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you, Nico. I'll see you at the course.
We'll see you at the course, and all the best to you, Lyle, and great racing today. Thanks for your input.
Thank you, Nico.
Take care. Cheers. Bye.